Brexit is most certainly delivering everything that the Conservatives promised it wouldn't. Certainly for our farming and food, everything that they promised wouldn't happen is happening. And that is going to culminate in Britain becoming reliant on others to feed us and others from the other side of the world. And we can prove this now with trade deals which have been signed, the first of which has now come into force with Australia. And as you can see in this video, the standards or the way that they farm in Australia is inherently different to the way that we farm in Britain. The impact of this food to the environment and to animal welfare and to public health is devastating and certainly doesn't align with the values that we hold in Britain. But even more worrying, the reality of Brexit has undermined our food security significantly, and in allowing food imports to come in and undercut our domestic system means that we become even more food insecure. And just to recap, let's listen again to Michael Gove, who back when he was DEFRA Secretary promised that they wouldn't offshore our food manufacturing to the other side of the world.
Guarantee that imports will have to be at the same standard that we grow?
Yes, absolutely. There's no point in having high environmental and high animal welfare standards if you then allow them to be undercut from outside. And ultimately, if you have high standards here and then you allow food in from elsewhere, you're not really contributing to animal welfare or higher environmental standards. You're simply offshoring those low standards, and that's wrong.
So that's a red line with your trade colleagues, with Liam Fox and others who are negotiating or will be negotiating trade deals around the world. You're going to say absolutely no dilution. Imports must be to our standards.
Absolutely.
But farmers are not able to sell their stock, and for some of them that is a very profound danger for them being able to run their businesses and pay their staff and pay their wages.
You've got to do, what you can't do is government can't magic up changes to their systems overnight. People need to recognise that we cannot simply continue with models which have basically held this country back and held our economy back. So that's
free
why...
trade agreement with the UK. Some British products will become cheaper. Exciting news. I just wonder, what does Britain actually have to offer us? I mean, there's beautiful MGs. If you can imagine the top-down, Matty, riding. Here we are. This is you riding to the Callide Power Station earlier this morning with the top down. Your hair blowing freely in the wind. Oh, hang on. The MG's owned by a Chinese company.
Yeah, that's right. That's
so
true.
What else do they have? There's black pudding, Cumberland sausages. That's about it, isn't it?
Carlos, there's a Spice Girls CDs, a nice cup of English breakfast tea. Don't be so hard on the Brits.
All right, name one good export from the UK, Matty.
It's hard, isn't it? I suppose. The peas pies, I don't know. Yeah, it's very hard. But this is about what we sell to them, Carl. It's a good thing for us. Good thing for us because we get to sell more beef, and that's great for everybody in Australia.
All right. Anyway, we have a new free trade agreement with the UK.
Because are more of those tempted by the leave side and
there's the odd one tempted by the leave side. The ones that I know that voted to leave have actually either sold up or cut back. And it's like a turkey voting for Christmas, isn't it? It's the epitome of what the human race can do. It's a faith that we might be better outside of Europe. And there's no solid basis for it. I've yet to see anybody put a solid argument up for leaving Europe. We're far better working together as a common community than we are split up. On the night of the referendum, we went to bed as Great Britain and we woke up as Little Britain. And that's a tragedy. And all the things they put forward, none of them are as good as staying in Europe. All the alternatives they put forward, there's none of them are. You've got to trade with your local neighbours. Donald Trump is wishing to take over the health service. Boris Johnson will go to negotiate with Donald as a little boy, pat him on the head. Not fearful. Boris Johnson has stuffed the DUP. He went over there, gave empty promises, and the day after he sold them.
Well,
the Irish problem, he can't sort it. He set about this. He promised 350 million a day. He knew that was a lie. He lied to the British public, and he is perpetrating this lie now. It should be sent to jail. Well, he should be sued.